Hello, welcome back to Kaiserreich. And before we get started, I want to say a few things. First of all, thank you to anyone who tuned in to the stream last night. I streamed for roughly 4 hours, I think, maybe a little bit under that, where we streamed some Total War 3 Kingdoms co-op with a friend of mine, and also, who also streams, by the way. And also, we streamed some Hydra 4, where we started a playthrough as the Vatican, doing a democratic Vatican, which is really interesting because you get this like strange like this part of the tree where you go to like the Senate of the Kingdom of Rome and you start to like call upon the legacy of the Roman Republic, and you also get weird shit like this, like the legionary spirit, where you organize you know, your soldiers as the Roman legions or something like that. It's very interesting, and I highly recommend you tune in to the live streams. I don't have a schedule at the moment because, you know, it's summer and I'm doing a bunch of shit with friends. But you know, hit that follow button on the Twitch channel in the description down below if you are interested at all in any of that stuff. Now let's get into the game itself. So first of all, this might be different. I forget if I mention it. I'm gonna start or continue the offensive here, continue the push. Actually, just gonna I'm gonna push in with the infantry division actually here. So the thumbnail for this series has been using an outdated picture of Jack Reed for a while, because that's the one from the files, the Kaiserreich files, when I pulled the files, which was a while ago. And I've now pulled the most recent picture, which is a better one. So I'm going to start updating some thumbnails with that one. I'm not going to go all the way back to thumbnail 1, I don't think. Just because YouTube is so fucking slow to navigate when you're like editing and like modifying videos and stuff. So doing that just takes way too long. Like creating the thumbnails, that takes like 5 seconds. But just loading the page for some reason takes forever on like editing videos. And it just pisses me off, so I'm not going to do it. Also, we're taking New Orleans really easily here. And these guys aren't even helping. This is probably not going to work, but it's better that I pin them and try to stop them from doing anything here than just having them, you know, keep like aggressively attacking me instead of me attacking them and stuff. Let's see, we've been over this. You know the basic of warfare by this point. All of New Orleans, we took it. The Union stronghold has fallen. They're counterattacking, that's fine. Because we've got the mobile divisions moving in as well. Not enough political power to assign a generated general. Probably just put these guys on the New England garrison, or actually no, Wisconsin militia, because we might actually be able to start creating some thinner lines over here now. Yeah, as you can see, the force concentration is heaviest in the north, which is why we're not actually pushing there. We're pushing in the south while they still don't have troops there. And then once this is over, we'll shift up north, or we might just carry the push all the way through the west here and reach the west coast and then push north while their troops are like held up here. We got 3 military factories, which is awesome, because now we can create another line of just infinite guns here. These are all military factories we've stolen from Huey Long. Or, sorry, reappropriated. They rightfully belong to us anyways. They are the means of production, and the means of production belong in the hands of the worker. This might actually work, because they've been attacking quite a lot, which means they've worn themselves out. And while they're doing that, we can actually, like, counterattack. Oh, these guys also aren't even doing anything. I mean, we may as well have them as well. Can they attack without crossing? Yes, they can. Oh, that's good. Awesome. Just accidentally organized an encirclement, which is awesome. Yeah, I think we should be pushing to the Mexican border, and then, okay, the South African revolt is over, and then push up northwest towards the Pacific states. Holy fuck! Argentina is big. Yeah, the Argentinians are eating the Brazilians. So the Brazilians now are, I think, sort of... They have some of this relatively important land, I believe, in Brazil. In terms of, like, how settled it is. But most of their land now is this, like, Amazon jungle shit, where they, I guess, have to, like, fight guerrilla warfare. Yeah, Union of South Africa won. Ethiopia fighting Somalia. Abyssinia, of course, an older name for Ethiopia. Mongolian Khanate took the Shangqing Tianguo. It's a lot of wars ending right now. None starting, though, in Europe. Japan, the rising sun. Social conservative Japan announcing their ambitions of... Let's see, where is it? Hiko... Or Hako Ichu. Or Ichiu. Hako Ichiu. It is the... Okay, that's just like a... oh, what's it called? That's just like a... oh, I forget the name for it, or their word for it every time. When you, you don't coalesce your forces, you're like, oh, whatever. That's them basically preparing themselves. All of those trees, I believe, are like organized or sort of framed in the way that these are things that Japan needs. These are like essential goods that Japan needs to hold on to. Also, Shiroki is Socialisti, that's cool. These are things that Japan needs to have, but it doesn't have it. Like, these are things that rightfully belong to Japan. That's kind of the way these are framed, I think. So, Nanshinron is like... Yeah, you threaten the people at the sea, and you try to take these like lands here. And Hokshinron is land direction. Japan has a lot of things that it needs. First of all, it needs security. Obviously, it needs to have this like island chain around its core islands or central islands to, like, you know, defend itself, or to project a create like a defensive barrier. Of course, it doesn't need it, but, you know, it wants it because it, you know, Japanese people at the time were very afraid of Western influence and stuff, in terms of like how it could potentially come to dominate their culture and their politics. Which the the fear there was justified, considering I think it was like 1871. No, 18. Well, actually, no, it might have been. No, it was before 18. Like 1860 something. Commodore Matthew Perry, I think his name was, sailed an American ship into the Bay of Edo, which is Tokyo, and just fucking started unloading with the cannons and said, you know, open up trade or this is never gonna end. Or like, you know, let us basically the American need or want there was they wanted to have a place with where they could stop their ships and buy coal and re-coal, like refuel essentially, which they didn't have a lot of. I think they had the Philippines, but the range and stuff made it kind of awkward, like Hawaii and Philippines, I guess. They wanted more there. And the Japanese, of course, were not very welcoming to Western trade, except for some slight, some smaller, small exceptions. Like the Dutch, I believe, were more welcomed when it came to trade. Also, we took this, is awesome. Were welcomed than most other foreign traders, and also there were like provisions set up so that should, for example, a ship sink off the coast of Japan, there were ways for them to like intern the Westerners, or if you know, there was trade that had to be done, they built like an artificial island to do that on. It wasn't ever like a closed society, as some people would call it. It was more of a restricted society, I think. So, I'm not confused. I'm surprised that the Illinois militia is actually being so efficient and effective at pushing in here. It's certainly not the way I would want things to go, but it's not like I hate it either. Like, this is, relatively speaking, very like useless territory for us to take right now. They've got like, yeah, 2 military factories, 1 civilian factory here. I want Missouri instead. And I stopped the M1 Garand production. I can, but I don't want to, because our production is still quite slow everywhere else, and we need a fuck ton of guns. We're running a production surplus right now, but we still have a stockpile deficit. There's no attack plan for the Revolutionary Red Guard, is there? This will set up an attack plan at the Mexican border then. Like so. Sure, yeah. They'll bypass Houston, but we'll take that anyways with just some manual direction or directing. We are sinking some shipping. They are trying to sink our submarines though with their airplanes, which luckily they aren't doing so quite yet. I'm guessing those that got hit there only took like a strafing run of bullets, which they could easily fix. If a naval bomber actually homes in on your submarine and knows exactly where you are, you're kind of fucked. Because they'll drop a depth charge or like a, you know, something that will blow up underwater, and it doesn't even need to be that close. The shockwave will fuck up your submarine no matter what. That's kind of the point of a depth charge, I guess, the shockwave. How far off are we from... Oh my god. Yeah, I was gonna say, how far off are we, do you think, from being able to just invade Canada? It's possibly one of our goals in the future, but I'm not quite sure if... oh, CNT-FAI are losing, but the Socialist Republic of Ukraine declared war on the Kingdom of Ukraine. So now we've got Nikita Khrushchev here with the Totalist Party. Thank you, Mosley. Everybody's a totalist. Except for Italy, apparently. No Benito Mussolini for us this timeline. Well, there's still time. Let's see what the Indo-Chinese Union are like. They are radical socialist as well. Viet Minh, I think. Maybe not. That might be a different. Wait, hold on. Which one is? The Tan Viet might be the Viet Minh, just with a different name. I would not know. Viet Minh, of course, being the party. Honking outside. Yeah, Viet Minh being like the party, I think, of the northern Vietnamese, while the Viet Cong was like the paramilitary arm, and so on and so forth. That honking was weird. Dude, the weather outside is so awesome right now. It's like almost 20 degrees Celsius outside in Norway, which is like... That's unheard of, dude. Well, from where I'm from in Norway. Up here in the cold north. The south has had some pretty nice weather because we were basically on the edge of the heat wave that hit Europe recently. Which... my friend who does some like music stuff, I think like some like composing and well, I know he does composing and oh, what's the dude called that like waves the stick in front of the band, in front of the orchestra? God, I actually don't know why I've forgotten that. Anyways, he does that shit. So he was like traveling through Europe, and in France and Germany, it was fucking horrible, apparently. And also I have a friend who went to the Netherlands just recently, and also the weather there was insane. The Red Witches, also, but the Netherlands were like on the tail end as well, kind of. Gender equality has long been a major ideological component of socialist thought. And we have yet more evidence that it works. A squadron of female pilots have earned renown throughout the CSA for their daring raids on enemy territory. Their coordinated and synchronized attack formations allow them to take down larger enemy forces with ease. Derisively named the Red Witches by the reactionary forces under Huey Long, the squadron, led by Florence Pancho Barnes, has taken their new nickname up with a great deal of pride. That's like the Nachtsexa, or whatever, or Nachtsexa, the Night Witches in the Soviet Union, who flew against the Germans in World War II. Death is in the air. Florence Pancho Barnes. That's cool. Let's have her lead one of our squadrons here then. She's yeah, she's one of my best or actually no, I think maybe all the aces work the same way. I'm not quite sure, depending on who they of course or what type of squadron they flew in when they got promoted, I think, to ace. Moment, I'm like not stressing the militia that much because I think it's a given. We've won the war. It's a matter of time. Unless something fucking outrageous happens, like Canada invades. Which, you know, would be kind of cool. Okay, we gotta do some hold on. Kind of sick of the bombardier. try to turn off some of these songs and see what happens. See a Japanese song. Let's see, Oliver Law can get a new trait. He's an infantry leader with engineer, which can go to Fortress Buster, which is good. Scavenger would also be really good right now because of our lack of guns, but it's not going to be a late game good thing to have because we're, I mean, we're gonna have the most amazing industry, and there falls the CNT FAI. I'm gonna go with infantry expert though. We can get a bunch of these, but we want to split up the command points a little bit. Order restored in Tennessee, thank you. Should we start another push? Before we do that, I want to redraw our attack plans.
Come on, move out.
I think this plan is also fine.
Let's go.
I'm gonna cut these down a bit here so that we can focus the Revolutionary Red Guard in one place where we're trying to like actually achieve something, and that is right now we're trying to get the oil and everything here. And not that the AUS necessarily uses it anymore, but they can use it for trade at least. Wait, we can't actually do a push because we don't have the political power. Where are we losing political power? We're losing it from the focus, I guess, and war, syndicalism, Steve Nelson, occupation. Yeah, it's mostly occupation, I think. We also probably should need, or should get military police, because we don't have that. German militia division. Yeah, I think we share the same division designs with the other nations. That's why we get some of those so weird ones. German militia probably coming from coming to the AUS, I guess, the American Union State. If you've seen the loading screen with the AUS artwork made by Kaiserreich Cinema, I believe, then you would have seen the Stahlhelm, I think, on the AUS troops. Actually, no, I think he actually wears a normal American helmet, but they've got like German weapons. There's like an MP-18 there, I think, and an MG-34, I think. Like that drum mag ass boy. Deutschland und Wacht. Und Wacht. I didn't know that they called the Netherlands Deutschland. I've heard, I think, Nederlanden or something like that. That might be... that has to be Dutch, though. It could be German, but it doesn't sound German. At least not when I said it. Then again, I might be saying it wrong. Alright, cool. We've pushed so hard now that we essentially hold South Texas. This stuff here will fall no matter what, because it's just a single National Guard division, which has support, but it, you know, doesn't have a space to move around and all that. Let's try to do something funky here. I'm gonna try to rush the mobile divisions up towards the border here, and I'm gonna push them up towards El Paso, and I'm gonna try to then push northwards and try to do a massive encirclement. Collapse of the Union. No, they haven't. They have. Okay, never mind. There's no one else taking anything, so we just have to pass until we can take it all. Yo. Yo. There we go. Okay, now we gotta fix everything again, because now it's all fucked up. So the Pennsylvania militia, which at this point, they're no longer the militias, they're the different revolutionary armies, I think. So I'm gonna say here, the New York militia, your army number 1, army number 2, army number 3, army number 4. This is no longer just garrison, this is army number 5. And these are like the Red Guard. They're obviously they're the elite army, and everyone else are like people's armies. So this is the first army then, and then second, and so on and so forth. So at this point, we control the United States, and we're so huge, I think we need to like actually at least pretend, or at least try to get these guys organized into actual armies. And I think we did do a focus that essentially does that. So we are essentially working with a semi-professional army structure here, aren't we? Let's see. Yeah, we have like standardized unit sizes and everything. This song is awesome. Now, granted, I do not know any of the lyrics, but the melody is awesome. I'm gonna swap this over because we aren't lacking in big guns, so may as well swap it over now and build up the production efficiency. I'm gonna cut down on the motorized, we don't need that many. Increase the support equipment. And are we still lacking? We're only lacking 1,300, so I'm actually, because we just stole a bunch of equipment, so I'm going to stop the M1 Garand. Yeah, we stole a bunch of equipment from Huey Long, I think. The Red Guard, I'm going to set them on the south here, because we want to do that push on the west here. And I'm going to set the... Difficulty uprising, they're still holding on here. Swap these around a little bit. So these are the people's armies, and this is like the professional army or whatever. The reserves here, I mean, they should probably just be their own army. They are the revolutionary militia like the others, right? Yeah, some of them are emergency reserves, which are also revolutionary. Yeah, they're all revolutionary militia, so they... Oh, no, they're not. These are revolutionary garrisons, of course. Yeah, they're going to be reserves then. In fact, we can probably just not even use these guys and set them up on New England then instead. It's going to be, like, quite complicated, this thing I'm going to do here. Or not complicated, but it's going to be, like, finicky. Also, we're gonna have to sacrifice some territory, I'm not sure yet. First army will set you up alongside the Red Guard. Second army. Third army will set you up... Honestly, we don't even need to go this wide, because we have so many armies. What do we do? Yeah, we will do that, and then we'll put you down until like there. The second army has been assigned. Third army has not. Then third army, you'll be over there. Very, very tiny front line. In fact, we can probably, let's see here. Something like that. And we'll sort this out later. We have, actually, we have a fourth army that's not doing anything here. We'll set them up on the Mexican border. Never mind, he is totalist. We will not set him up on the Mexican border. I forgot. Guess we'll maybe set them up on the Canadian border then, but over here. Because then they can respond to stuff over here if they need to, and they can also respond if the Canadians decide to intervene. Again, I don't know if there's an event or what actually, you know, provokes that. Now I have so many military factories I just need to assign stuff even though I don't need it. Like I don't need these things we're producing. Let's see, fighter 1. Probably not any close air support yet. We probably need the naval bombers. And we need some strategic bombers, of course. Strategic bombers, why can I not speak? We want to get the heavy fighters just because we can then reach further out from our shores when patrolling the seas from the air. They're great at spotting enemy submarines and stuff. Khrushchev failed, predictably. Let's see if we can get the Internationale rolling, because we did just win, essentially, the Civil War. That one works. Our finest hour. So Winston Churchill has written his weird alternate history in which Theodore Roosevelt and his Bull Moose Party actually win the election in 1912, and it leads the Americans to join the First World War, which leads the Germans to lose, and the Germans get overthrown by a man called Adam Dressler, who has a revolutionary ideology called People's Socialism, an extreme version of national populism. And he's trying to establish the new Reich. That's a childish fantasy. If you want to play a world based on that idea, there's a mod called Reich. I'm not quite sure how far along it is, but it exists. I think it's Reich at least. Honestly, I think that's kind of a silly name. It should probably be called well, Their Finest Hour or something. Because the reason it's called Kaiserreich is because the Kaiser is the head of this amazingly, or this huge military and political and economic bloc. That's what's called the Kaiserreich. Adam Dressler isn't that in the mod as far as I know. I think it's Reich at least, the mod. But I know why they called it that. It's because they want to have it be sort of phonetically similar to Kaiserreich, so that you can sort of, I guess, hear that it's the same kind of jam. And also probably to pull in some of the Veribus. Veribus, if you, or Veribu, if you haven't heard of the term, refers to someone who, if you've heard of the term weeaboo, like someone who's obsessed with Japan, Veribus are the same thing, but for World War II Germany and for especially often the Wehrmacht. And boy, do Veribus say some stupid shit. So yeah, we have no army now on the Canadian border over here, which is a problem, because if they attack us, they can basically take our most valuable territory immediately. Yeah, we're gonna try this again. Set the mobile core up on this point here and try to like push as hard as we can up until Los Angeles there.
I wouldn't take the wealth on Wall Street for a road where nature tries. And I calculate that I am worth my weight in gold and rice. Lucky, lucky me. Yes, I can live in luxury. 'Cause I've got
If we were to fight the Canadians, I think the best way to handle this is to ignore this stuff because it's very low infrastructure and hard to move through. Push something like this, or push up like something like that, and then just try to hold... Actually, maybe just push all the way over to the mountains over here. And then have these guys deal with us. Because like, if we're attacking Canada, what you need to do is you need to take this area here. Like Toronto, well, like the greater Toronto area, the Ottawa, of course, and Montreal, Quebec, and all that. And then you got to take, I think, Vancouver and Calgary and stuff over here. We've restored order in North Carolina. We're also going a bit over time, and actually, we'll stop because I might be able to fit the entirety of the victory in the Civil War into the next episode. So, thank you again so much for watching. If you would like, you can check me out on Twitch, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, in the link down below. Please give me a follow if you are into live content where I can interact a bit more with the audience. I'll try to upload the Twitch VOD, but I want to split it up so that you have the Three Kingdoms as one video and Hotline 4 as one video. I'll try to upload that on YouTube so you guys can see it if you don't use Twitch. Also, of course, support me on Patreon if you want, if you can, if you have the means, and follow me on Twitter. And most important of all, please visit the Discord in the link down below, because we have a wonderful little community, active pretty much every day, people talking and sharing stuff, a lot of vacation photos and a lot of just general good, cool like pictures of where people are from being shared right now. And also Bobbert making awesome flags, and also working on, I believe, a well, it's a submod, but I don't want to talk too much about it because, you know, that's for him to talk about. But you should visit the Discord if you want to see. It's a rework or a submod for Kaiserreich regarding New England. You should check the Discord for all that good stuff. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.